With Mo Salah getting another double-digit haul and Liverpool's fixture swing in game week 10, which Liverpool players should you be looking to buy? As you can see on screen right now, we have highlighted arguably the 5 best assets that you can buy from the Liverpool team for this upcoming kind of fixture run, fixture swing, whatever you want to call it. The next kind of 6 to 7 fixtures are absolutely immense. We're going to flash them up on screen right now as I read through them as well. Obviously, Nottingham Forest next week, then Luton, then Brentford, then Manchester City, not the easiest, but then it's Fulham, Sheffield United and Crystal Palace. And after that Crystal Palace performance today against Newcastle, I think we should be licking our lips at that one. Obviously Liverpool as well, a real strong, impressive performance against Everton. Everyone for Everton was just kind of sat behind the ball. Liverpool were very patient. Yes, the penalty and the red card did influence the game, but Mo Salah picking up another double-digit haul. As you can see on screen, 52 points over the past 5 game weeks for Mo Salah has been absolutely cooking. I'm glad I played my wild card in game week 8, getting hold of kind of his past 2 hauls while I still could kind of get some effective ownership out of him. I imagine that situation isn't going to quite happen next week. If you've been on the wrong side of it for the first 2 weeks, now is the time to be bringing this man in. I know a lot of people have said, you know, maybe other players like Diaz or Darwin potentially could cover off Mo Salah, but as you can see from the past 5 game weeks, you'd have to argue against that. Just on the points alone, 52 for Salah, 13 for Diaz and 16 for Darwin. Nowhere near what Mo Salah has been producing, especially in terms of expected goals and in terms of expected goal involvement. Again, Mo Salah blistering past all of the other assets. So I think if you had a plan to potentially go without Salah, maybe try and look to Diaz or Darwin to potentially cover him off, I don't think it's really going to work. I don't think that is a potential option. Mo Salah seems to be kind of back to the asset we all know and love, picking up goals, picking up penalties as well, which is always a big asset, especially when you're going for this captaincy. It's honestly just so huge in this game. It massively influences points, bonus point system as well. I think that ownership and that price as well are something you need to keep in mind because it's not going to stay at 12.7 in terms of his price. I imagine he'll probably see a price rise tonight, if not tomorrow night as well, and then probably 1 to maybe even 2 before the deadline. A lot of people are going to be wildcarding in game week 10 as well. A lot of people have been holding it. This is the week that they'll potentially be looking to bring in Salah. If I was on the wildcard as well, he would be my number 1 priority. I would be looking to build the team around him. Like I said, with the good fixtures coming up, he is potentially going to offer himself as a great, not as a captaincy option, but just a great option in general. There are weeks where you are going to want to captain him potentially over Erling Haaland, so we will get to those. Obviously looking at game week 11 is probably a bit of a split decision. You do have Luton for Liverpool and you have Bournemouth at home for Manchester City. Bournemouth yet to pick up a Premier League win, but it's whether or not Areola is still going to be in place, so there might be a little bit of new manager bounce. City as well weren't at the races again today watching that Brighton game. They weren't fully fluid, weren't overly kind of exciting or eccentric in their play. They just needed to do what they did. So I think there is definitely scope to go against Haaland in that week, but the big weeks that you're looking at are around game week 14 and 15, where Liverpool play Fulham and Sheffield United. Manchester City, on the other hand, have Tottenham and Aston Villa. Those are the 2 weeks where Mo Salah is going to be key and arguably essential, probably going to have over 100% effective ownership, probably even breaching upon 200% if he keeps up this good form, keeps getting the attacking returns, and lots of people look to captain him in those 2 game weeks. So I definitely think Mo Salah is the number 1 target if you are going for a Liverpool. If you're on a wild card, he would be the player that I would be looking to get in. If you are looking for a transfer this week, maybe you've already played the wild card, you haven't included Salah, or you're trying to hold your wild card till around game week 19 to get that City double a little bit later in the season, Salah for me would be a priority that I would be trying to get in the team as fast as possible. Like I said, I just don't think players like Diaz and Darwin are going to be able to cover off the points that Salah is going to be getting. Not that I don't think Darwin and Diaz are bad options. I just think they cannot cover what Mo Salah is doing. I think if you're looking for a potential cheap alternative, maybe you can't quite get to Watkins. I think Darwin and Salah would be a potential nice double up. Came off the bench today. I think he will start to see more starts. I thought he looked quite bright when he came on. Obviously had a big impact as well, getting the assist. I think Obviously, just being him back to from international duty, get the words out eventually, back late from international duty was the main reason that he was on the bench. So hopefully he starts on Thursday, then maybe sees a start against Nottingham Forest, then against Luton as well. So I probably would be inclined to potentially go for 2 Liverpool attackers, and Darwin is kind of leading the way over Diaz in my personal opinion. The other areas that you potentially could look at are the defence. Obviously, Tsimikas has become an option with Andy Robertson picking up a dislocated shoulder. Had surgery on it as well, so probably is going to be out till the new year. So it means that we're going to have a 4.4 million playing Liverpool defender, and like we said, with those good fixtures, that is what we want to see. My only concern with Tsimikas is the fact that he did come off in the 61st minute. Yes, Liverpool hadn't scored at that point, so maybe it was more a tactical change to kind of attack the game. But I do think we might see a little bit of rotation with him. I've seen it in the past where people have brought in Tsimikas when Robertson isn't fit or available, and we've seen other players kind of delve into that position. That might be something that happens again this season. And I think it wasn't like an overly impressive performance, but there were flashes where he was definitely starting to catch my eye a little bit. He was a player that I was potentially looking at bringing in on the deadline. I wish I had in hindsight, but hindsight's a bitch, isn't it? But as you can see, not too much in terms of expected goal involvement from that one game so far for him. So his data is looking a little bit skewed. Moving on to our final player, and it is Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, for me, Trent is an avoid. I just don't think, even with the good fixtures, that he's kind of warranting that close to 8 million price tag. Obviously, was in quite a lot of people's team at the start of the year, but yeah, for me, I just think when Tsimikas is available and he's at 4.4, putting up very similar numbers in the game this weekend, I just don't see kind of the appeal of going for Trent, to be honest. No goals, no assists, 0.24 expected goal involvement. When you're paying that kind of premium price tag for a defender, you want a little bit more than a clean sheet. You want the attacking returns as well. Very similar to what we're seeing with Kieran Trippier. He's getting the clean sheets, he's getting the attacking return, so arguably is justifying that steep price that he's at. Whereas with Trent, you don't feel that is potentially kind of warranted or really, offering too much value, to be honest. So I think if I was to go for a defender, I would be more leaning towards Tsimikas than Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think that money could be used so much better elsewhere as well in your side. So maybe if you're on a wild card, probably Tsimikas and Salah are the top 2 that I'd be going for. And then maybe if you don't fancy Tsimikas and you want to go Darwin, he would be my 3rd best option. Then Diaz, and then probably Trent would be my least favourite option to go for from the Liverpool attackers. That was my kind of overview of the Liverpool best assets to go for in game week 10. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, as we are trying to hit 2,500 subs here on the channel. We're ridiculously close. We're edging to that goal, and that would be amazing if we could hit that by the end of this month. But yeah, thank you very much for watching today, ladies and gentlemen, and good luck next game week.